You know, not gonna lie, I thought I hit the tower, but here we are in a control match, surprise to me, using the max range messenger, high caliber rounds on the perfect map for it, using the best subclass for it. I'm using marksman's dodge so I can extend desperado.
Zone C captured. Enemy claimed Zone A.
And let the magic begin.
Zone B captured. You have zone advantage. Zone C lost. Double down. Triple down.
I can throw grenades too. That really hurt at that distance. But I knew it was a hand cannon, so I just slid out wide. I would rather not get hit by the bow, so that is why I did not go for the kill on the burst. I wanted to make sure I was in cover. The thing about bows is their arrow is giant, and so even though the arrow could, you know, technically fit through a hole, it can't. In this game, they're the size of a refrigerator, and it's both a blessing and a curse. If I had the stability, I could hit that. I'm like pulling down, trying to do that type of thing, but it's just not letting me. So yeah, they backed out of the match. They don't want this smoke. Specifically this smoke.
Power play. Keep the pressure on. That's why we have science.
Destiny 2, ladies and gentlemen, Destiny 2, where people don't want to play the game unless they're shitting on people. They were probably Stompy Hunters too. So I was not going to upload a game from today. I was using all of my SMGs, right? And the question I was trying to answer is, what's the difference between this and this? This one has a damage drop off of what, like 23 meters, something like that. And this one is 30-ish, so it's like almost 30. Am I on the enemy team now? Well, it really wants me to play this match. So I'll just continue the story, but the gameplay is gonna get a lot worse now. Because I'm focusing on the story, not the game. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Perfect 2 or 3 games, people start quitting. Desync. Perfect 2 or 3 games, and the trend I see is that Stompy Hunter, Dune Marcher Titans, Transversive Warlocks, they always leave the match when they're getting shit on. And all I'm trying to do is I'm taking like really stupid duels with my SMG and my auto rifle, trying to hit them at like 35 meters out, just to see which feels better, which detects better. And they're leaving the match because they're getting outgunned by SMGs and auto rifles at hand cannon distance. It's embarrassing. So, moral of this story is, just because a tournament player drives the race car doesn't mean that you need the race car. You need to learn to drive the race car before the race car does you any benefit. Hope that makes sense. There are other exotics in this game, like I'm using one right now. Bow Tracer is made for people with slightly worse awareness, but it also has the skill ceiling of giving me a faster time to kill if I'm landing killing blows.
Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours.
Oh, nice, I got him. Knucklehead Radar, another one of those. Amazing for a below average player. Still really good for a great player. And allows you to be very disrespectful with the sniper rifle.
together. Nothing. 5 minutes left. Keep it up.
Let's delay this as much as I can. Seriously? So he went... I mean, it was a good fakie, don't get me wrong. My concern was the spectral blades. I was like, that Titan's sure taking an eternity. He wanted to specifically find me.
Zone B lost.
I had Desperado ready for him too if he went for my teammate, but why would he go for my teammate? Let's go chain reaction. Oh shit, it didn't grab.
Enemy has a power play. Zone B captured.
Now, Invis doesn't really do much for me here, considering the tether gives away my location. But what I do is I want to break some sightlines.
That shut them down. Zone A captured. You have advantage.
Uh-oh.
This is amazing. Double down.
That's the power of Foe Tracer right there. So let me think of some other starter pack exotics for newer Destiny players that aren't like mechanically gifted. Now there's also nothing wrong with using Stompies if you're not great at the game, right?
Stay strong.
There's nothing wrong with using some of the highest skill ceiling option weapons and loadouts and exotic armor pieces, even if you don't have the skill to pilot them. There's nothing wrong with that. What I don't want to see is the ego that comes with those type of things. I don't want to see the bagging, the taunting, the hate mail, the screenshotting shit. Like, why is it always Stompy Hunters that do that? So you can be a gracious winner and a gracious loser no matter what you use. That's all I'm trying to say. So now let's think of some starter pack exotics. List in the comment section below if you think you are a low or average skill player, and what exotic are you finding the most mileage for. I can tell you firsthand, the hardest thing for me to play against is Lemon Arc. That has my number. It's very difficult for me to play against. Oh, I want to give that the gunny so bad. I want to look at somebody in the well and Desperado them down. So Knucklehead, Radar, and Foe Tracer are one. Very, very confident player. I'll look at the exotic list. That's just the topic of the day.
Zone A captured. You have zone advantage. Zone B captured. Power play. Keep the pressure on. Double down. Down tactic.
Did the sniper abandon them? I think he did. Desperado is so good. Like, this is the best weapon for this map. Barring maybe Dead Man's Tale.
These zones. Bring me your friends. I need more like you.
I just realized I have a better rocket than that one. Whatever. So let's take a look at these exotics. So, Oathkeeper to start with Lemon Arc. Once you get good at it, Shinobu's Vow, Lemon Arc. Kepri's Sting, I'm going to say stay away from, because you need to learn to manage your invisibility better. So start off on Graviton Forfeit. The best way to develop game sense is to use Knucklehead Radar and Foe Tracer. Wormhusk Crown is obviously great for maintaining aggression, right? You get that chunk of health back, you keep pushing the advantage. A Gemini Jester's amazing for being able to make plays and make people have to decide between two different options. Like, let me think. I was on Altar of Flame without my Geminis, and I was noticing that even with Invis, it's kind of the same thing. Gemini and Invis are the same thing is what I'm saying. So let me pull up the map right now. I realize there's a better way to explain this mid-explanation, so we're just going to go with that. Okay, pulling up the image now. Okay. So in Rumble, this is your initial spawn right here. It will spawn you in this pocket. And someone usually sits up on platform with the pulse rifle looking at this angle. So my goal was to get to where my mouse cursor is right now in this bottom right corner. Why? Because it gives them two different options to account for. I either come out this side or I come out this side. And so by using Gemini Jester or Invisibility, you are forcing them to have to guess which side you are coming out of, versus if they have the radar, they just continually pre-aim different sides. So in this situation where I was stuck in the corner, my thought was, well, Gemini and Invis isn't doing anything for me here. The best thing I can do to live is to ceiling bounce, head bounce off the ceiling, and try to get to this side, because now that I have Invis, it forces them to make a decision. That's the best way to explain it. Okay, what else? There's Frosties with Shatter Dive, but I don't think you should fully equip yourself into the killing aspect of Shatter Dive. Start using Glaciers as platforms, as cover for getting revives, as damage resistance on the fly. Because with Frosties, you get them back so often that you will likely also have the killing Shatter Dive in your back pocket when you need it. So Frosties can also count, but learn to use those Glaciers to your advantage. Lucky Pants. Now, while this does increase the accuracy of the hand cannon, I would advise this on last word for any input device, but I think that there's a certain skill ceiling that really takes this far, and that's the one that can tolerate the fast swap speed and use that to win matches. Some players, it doesn't matter if they have fast swap speed. Their game sense is so bad that they don't even know what weapon to have out at the right time. And sure, you could say, oh, but then swap speed is perfect for them because even when they make a mistake, they can correct themselves faster. And I get that line of thinking, but also you have to give up something for handling. So would it not be better to give that same bad player a knucklehead or radar and not build into handling whatsoever, so that they always know someone's coming, so that they can make the right situational decision? And then when they get better game sense, then they can upgrade to Lucky Pants to make up for the mechanical weakness of not being able to swap weapons fast? I don't know. There's 2 or 3 different ways of thinking about it, but this is the thought that's on my mind, and what I wanted to just like feel out with my audience here is, why do I see so many Stompy hunters that aren't good with Stompies when they would be getting so much more mileage out of literally any other exotic? Young Yahimkara's Spine. You build into zoning with explosive knives, get your trip mine back, keep zoning, choke out every advantage they have, make them choose between taking trip mine damage or getting into a gunfight. These are scrim tested. These are really, really good. Mask of Bakris, the get out of jail free card, or the super aggro. It's like a Blink but for hunters. You could call it better Blink, but unlike Blink, this is on a much stricter cooldown. I think those are my recommendations, though. For Warlock, transversive steps are a safe option. The sprinting reload is very useful. Not going to deny that. But could you be getting more mileage out of anything else? Ophidian aspect, not even just for the weapon swap speed, but the melee range, I think is super clutch. Stag, obviously, for the rift, but don't rely on it so much as a fortress maker. use it as an exotic that gives you more rifts. So just flat cooldowns.
Show your enemy this place.
Just because you place a rift down does not mean that that is your new home. I think that's a trap new players fall into all the time.
Enemy claims zone A. Zone B captured.
Had to kill my invis for Desperado.
You have my respect, Hunter. Enemy claims zone B.
What am I looking at? Is this the skill-based matchmaking they told me about? Or connection-based?
What's that you've got?
You see what I mean about swap speed? That was pretty low swap speed, and I still chose the right weapon at the right time. But let's extend that like swap speed discussion of why average and low skill players don't need to drive the race car. Wow, 3 different people.
Relax, Guardian. You're scary. They'll never want to match with you again.
Well, they were bound to get one eventually. He had to stand on top of the glacier in order to get it. So, a mark of a really talented player in FPS games is being able to make the most out of their player lifespan. So that's damage output. How much damage can you do before you go down? And then second question, how much of that damage was meaningful to your team winning the fight? So a great player will put a lot of damage in. Oh no.
Hunters like you blaze a path for the rest of us.
The laggy guy is the bane of my existence here. So mark of a great player is putting in a lot of meaningful damage. And so the best way that they can make that easier on themselves is improving their swap speed so that they have the best burst damage weapon for the situation. Sometimes that means instant shotgun swap speed. Sometimes that means instant primary swap speed. And so on that kind of player, and then the Gemini, sorry, that's my exotic.
Tell them to line up fast.
I'm glad to see more Geminis in the field. That's an example of invis.
That shut them down.
I'm gonna go wide on this one even though it's bows.
I've seen enough. Calling this one. More, Guardian. Double down. Down tactic.
Good shot.
Zones controlled. Targets eliminated. Nice work.
Wow, I popped off a lot this game, not gonna lie. Anyhow. So the most talented players in any FPS game are going to have the best meaningful damage output, and one of the strongest tools at their disposal to do that is swap speed, so that they have the proper burst damage weapon when they need it. Burst damage meaning not like a pulse rifle shoots a burst of 3, but just like a chunk. So for a player that puts in a lot of meaningful damage, a 120 might be better than a 140. Because they shoot a shot of 120, instant swap to the shotgun to raid boss somebody down. They're hand cannon shot, shotgun cleanup, shotgun shot, hand cannon cleanup, whip 180, shoot somebody in the face, whip 180 back, instant swap to the shotgun, full pellet somebody down. That's the kind of thing that you see swap speed benefiting. In Destiny 2, you usually have to give up something in your loadout to get all of that advantage, and that is most likely running a lightweight shotty with surplus, because even at 2 out of 3 stacks, it's still max handling. You go for quick draw perk, or you go for inherent max handling by going for something like fluted barrel and a handling masterwork. Since the aggressive frame shoddy is the most consistent, it comes with the price of having the hardest to reach quick draw. And then, for example, let me pull up my dim. The precision frame, like this one, has quick draw on it, but you give up a little bit of consistency. So this is the most consistent shotgun in the game, barring none. There is nothing better than this one.
Control.
So opening shot from the hip can arguably be better than Retold Tail ADS, even with slide shot active, because of the slide nerf change. So part of building a Destiny loadout is identifying what you need to be more useful. And more often than not, the answer is not stompies. I fucked up there. Wrong weapon out. Let's go Ace of Spades. So now we're going to have the full medium skill player wants to have more impact on the match. Starter pack.
Enemy has zone advantage.
Okay, so if my team's sitting in the spawn, they want to get mercied. That's all that tells me. You want to break out of this C spawn. I shouldn't have gotten tunnel vision to want to activate the damage boost. I should have just shotgunned the guy and went along. Ace is still good even without Mori. So not going to make that mistake again. And now I'm going to have to win 2 more fights here to break this. There it is. Burst damage. Burst damage. Now they have to make a decision on where I am. I want Mori, so I'm gonna burn that dodge. Wrong weapon out. Since Ace does not have inner accuracy, sometimes you have to put yourself in those bad situations if you don't want the dice roll. Case in point, some trash accuracy. Bow Tracer, in conjunction with having my radar up at the same time, allowed me to make a very intelligent decision on which target to prioritize, right? I have no intention of going for A flag right there. I want C flag over anything. But I will try to put in as much damage as I can. Just gonna leave that there while I go around the side. I'm still off radar, obviously, until I break invis. Fake the direction again. And so if I had instant swap, the guy behind me might have died. If you're liking this commentary in particular, this is a lot like my Twitch streams. Just with more anime and memes. So my radar was up, so I did, know somebody was behind me. But there's no point when my damage output is literally putting the team in the spawn screen. My death is okay there. I should have hugged the box. So we lost the war right here. We're back on A flag. Maybe my teammates push through. Damage output. Damage output. Damage output. Situational awareness. I even naded the one guy running away. That guy on B flag is not my fight. The spawn anchor at C is. We did it. Now I go invis, break radar, A door. 1 damage, Firefly, someone jumping. Good, Mori refresh. I didn't miss intentionally there, you just roll with the punches. It was somewhat a better decision to end with the ace kill, because that means more Mori. I could have got a 3-tap there, but I thought for sure that player was going into cover after 1 shot. Shoddy wasn't reloaded, melee was the call. So if you use ace, auto-loading holster is a really, really good perk. Don't quite have my smoke yet. I think a tether here is fine. I just need to slow them down and C flag as much as I can. Smoke? Could have been a, I'm not going to finish that thought. Already on to the next. There's a hill to my left that really fucked me up. Mori's not worth. So I definitely overextended, but look at the score.
Some people think I don't like hunters. I don't. I love them. What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing. Impressive.
Oh shit, I haven't been keeping up with my postmaster. This is gonna get dangerous. Well, I'm taking a trip to the tower. Or helm. So now let's think about Titan exotics and finish the thought on Warlock exotics. So what else would benefit a player? I think I Have Another World also makes sense. It highlights weak targets as well as just gives you flat cooldowns. That's a great one. Getaway Artist. Oh, holy shit, yes, Getaway Artist. Use those. They help with your awareness because they shoot people that you might not be aware of. They'll shoot, just like somebody shows their shoulder around a wall and they'll shoot, letting you know they're there. So, Getaway Artist. Yeah, definitely these. If you have a damage boosted 120, like a Frenzy Hand Cannon, you can shoot them twice in the face and it just takes one single bullet of the Getaway Artist to make it a 2-tap. Same with Rampage. Past that, I think we're good. Assembler boots if you use Lumina, but Lumina's a really tough gun to use. It's bad stats all around. Even when it's damage boosted, you still would rather just have Thorn. I think it's worth it for the team, though. Okay, let's talk about Titan. Obviously Dunes. This isn't a speed boot. This is a damage exotic. One punch can convert to 3, so definitely Dunes. They're getting nerfed though, but still. OEM is contingent more on winning fights. And the worst part about playing against OEM is that shotgun fights are RNG, and sometimes they get an overshield for what would be a bad play. So, it is what it is. Syntheseps, absolutely. Use these. They're S tier exotic because of melee desync. If your enemy can't hit you, you can safely 2-tap them with the melee. I would not become dependent on Titans, even though they're really good. When cheating was at an all-time high, Titans won games. But against good players, they will wait your barricade out and or disrespect your barricade and just immediately break it with a Glacier or something. And so a lot of players that use Titans use them badly and just think of themselves as a unbreakable wall that no one is going to challenge. They will challenge it. They will snipe the corner of the shield just to break it and go full aggro on you. And you could have been using another exotic that helps you win those otherwise. So the Titan's purpose on a team is to draw aggro from the enemy team. It's to place your barricade down. All of them look at you and they're like, angry, I hate you, Titan. And then while they're angry at you and their focus is on you, your teammates just shoot them in the side. Then they turn to deal with their teammates. Then you push through your barricade to deal with them. For that reason, Crest of Alpha Lupi, very good. I think I posted a full trials card of a Crest of Alpha Lupi Hawkmoon build where I punish myself to use Hawkmoon so that I put in meaningful chip damage, and then anytime me or my teammates get hurt, throw up Crest and wait for me to have the Hawkmoon one-shot to push in. So Crest, good. Titan's good, but be careful. Syntheseps, good. I would say Antaeus Words for shotgunning. It adds a layer of safety. You could fusion rifle with these too. They're fantastic. Peacekeepers, it's another one of those Ophidian aspect Lucky Pants questions of, is your damage output so good that you would tangibly benefit from having the extra swap speed? If the answer is yes, Peacekeepers are an easy option. Some of the best Peacekeeper players I know can straight solo flawless with double SMG and not even be throwing for the most part, because their situational awareness is so good that it allows them to use 2 different SMGs to never have downtime. The optimal choice is Sniper SMG or Shoddy SMG or Fusion SMG. You could even GL SMG. And what you're trying to do with these is min-max your stats. So it's a plus 50 mobility. So you shoot for either 30 mobility with multi-mock, or you shoot for 50 with anything else, and it'll boost it to 100. So you have ankle-breaking strafe speed on a class that traditionally has low mobility, which is sick. Then you have instant swap speed to your SMG. It auto loads in your backpack. And so in close quarters, which is what Behemoth brings to the table, you can throw a glacier nade or a barricade and it cuts space in half. You can make every lane on a map a close quarters lane if you throw the glacier far enough. So that's what the Titan does. Meaningful damage output. Lion Rampant DMT, I give a strong thumbs up to because it lets you play angles that people are not used to. It lets you help your team faster. And you can bait doorways better. Dunes, obviously the chain. I have a fantastic Arma. This one's good for low skill. Incredible for high skill just because of having an extra suppressor at all times. Takes away people's super. Heart of Inmost Light is one of my most used exotics in general, just for flat cooldowns. The same way that I would suggest I Have Another World on Warlock. Go for that. Sorry if I maybe didn't list your favorite exotic ever, but I'm telling you, the game is more than just speed boots. Nothing wrong with using speed boots, by the way, in case somebody clicked around to this video. I'm just so surprised that most of the quitters I see in the game have a speed boot on, shotgun or snipe, hand cannon. They do the teabag strafe, they slide everywhere, they ceiling bounce off. And when they're getting gunned by anything that isn't that, they leave the match and rage quit. And then I get a Steam friend request. Don't be that person. Yeah. The hardest thing to do in these games is to know what you don't know, and that just takes playing. So take my advice here. If you identify with low or average skill player, throw on a different exotic and cycle it maybe once a week and just see if you learn anything new. I really advise Knucklehead Radar or Foe Tracer with Ace to start to give you some baseline understanding of the radar in game sense. Then after that, you can Graviton Forfeit, start learning to radar break with Graviton or Gemini Jester. Yeah, let me know. Take care, everyone. Hope you learned something new in this one. See you in the next one or a Twitch stream.